in some of Kenosua earlier series, I think we saw a little bit of some mind gain. So also be interesting to see if he pulls anything off here.
Right. Okay. Spawning down here in the bottom left of 2,000 atmospheres, we have Silks, Kenosua.
And in the top right, with the pink probes, P-Goose spawn.
All right, game 1 in the finals, guys. Get it trending on Twitter. Let's go.
So I think we saw some, at least supposed to be worker micro from Kenosua. I think he messed it up slightly, but
oh, he's trying to stack the pros?
Yeah, I think so.
Very good, very good.
It gets you all of like 60 minerals, so not really worth it. Don't recommend. But I did too, just because there's nothing else to do in their early game.
Right, exactly. I've been trying to do that a lot, especially if you're playing Zerg and you're sacrificing a lot of drones and you're sending a lot of units across the map. You really want to make sure whatever drones you do have are mining as efficiently as they can. But that's not to say anything about Protoss or Terran. That's the idea, is that they do that regardless of what race. But yeah, it can definitely be a huge advantage if you're going for a low econ game, like is possible with the Zerg play opening. Okay, so we see 2 gates on the side of Kenosua and 1 gate for spawn. We are seeing a bit of blocking here. Oh, there it is. Okay, the first time in the tournament we see it in game 1 in the finals. We see a pylon block in the natural, and that is going to be huge because it's a 1 gate opener. Right, so let's see, does he make the Zealot? Does he pop down another gate? This is where PvP starts to open up quite a bit.
He cancels the pylon, so looks like he can put the Nexus down.
Okay, and Spawn did the same thing, and he opts not to cancel. Okay, but, I mean, we have a 2 gate opener, so it's a bit different. He's going to get units right away. But still, this is the stuff that you can do in PvP. It's a lot of fun. It can kind of make it, you know, a bit more interesting than just, okay, well, I made Stalker Sentry, you make Stalker Sentry, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I think in this case, too, the pylon block didn't really do too much. You know, it delayed the Nexus slightly, but it also will just throw you off if you're not used to facing it. You know, it can throw your build off and make you screw up in other places that you usually don't.
Right, and we've seen it earlier in this tournament too, where someone will issue a command to go drop the Nexus and then queue back to mine minerals, and if it's blocked by the probe or a pylon, they might not even notice for a while. And we had, I think that game, the Nexus was delayed by half the time of the opponent's Nexus. Like, it was halfway by the time the other one was done. So but yeah, here was opting for the 2 gate opener anyways, but even still, you want to get, preferably you want to get that Nexus down before unit 3 and 4. So we'll see if Spawn kind of springboards that economic advantage into the mid game.
So it looks like we're going to see oracles from Spawn again, which is what he did in all of his previous series and proved to be very effective. But I think Kenosua knows about this, right? He watched all those other games, so he might be able to prepare a little better.
Right. Ooh, an Adept is making it into the main. Will he cancel? No, he's going to finish that. There is a shield battery, so nothing that 1 Adept is going to be able to do. You need 2 to be able to instantly pop those before the shields recharge. So that's going to get cleaned up, and a Stalker's in position. Also, not moving his entire army over there too. That's a sign of a good player. If you send your entire army to the back, you can poke at the front, get a free pylon, maybe even get the cancel on a Nexus if you're truly opening up for like an aggressive 1 base build. Yeah, that's really good. We are seeing the Void Ray follow up. Did that? I don't think that Oracle got made. He must have canceled it as soon as he saw the shield battery.
Yeah, that definitely would be a better decision, I think. Yeah. Also, because his Nexus is still sooner, so he's economically still up.
Right. I know that I mentioned it before. Kenosua is very good defensively. He has units usually positioned in the correct spots. See Stalker back here, just to kind of push away that Oracle if there were to be one. But there is something to be said about having a double Oracle pressure. And speaking of double pressure, we got double Adepts going across here. Pulling back is Spawn. Oh!
And he cancels?
The Oracles, or the Adepts actually cancel their shade, but Spawn wasn't in position to block those out. That could have been devastating damage. Spawn is
Looks like the
pulling
Adepts are
back.
coming back.
Yeah, Spawn's pulling back, maybe thinking that they made it into the main, maybe thinking that they made it into the main somehow. Meanwhile, his natural's actually exposed. And
Oh, but
Kenosua
it looks
might
like
not
they won't
notice
make.
this and actually
Oh
walks
man.
directly into a trap. 5 of these stalkers are there to intercept him and tell him to get the hell out. They go to the natural. They might get one probe.
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
Just one probe. And okay, so now Spawn's kind of splitting his army up a little bit. I'm not sure if he knows if.
And he puts down a third too.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if he knows the tech or if he's expecting an Oracle, but he's got units in position. So he sees double Stargate. He knows now. This might be a good opportunity to recall this or get it out of there, cancel the overcharge as well, and then you get a bit more of a speed boost. As far as income, 4 up for Kenosua, but we do have that earlier third for Spawn. Tech advantage is also going to Kenosua. Sorry, go ahead.
If you look at the army size, though, Spawn's army is much bigger, much higher value. So the only problem with that is it's kind of low tech. It's just Stalkers, 2 Void Rays, and with his double Void Ray production from Kenosua, he can catch up quickly. So I think Spawn should move across, see if he can do some damage. I mean, he might even be able to win the game now if he were to do that.
Yeah, he is getting supply blocked right now, and if you want to put pressure on, you kind of want to like mass up some army and go. And if you're supply blocked, it's going to be a bit hard. Actually, those 2 pylons finish down over the third, and then the third itself will finish. So it's good timing there. He is able to produce a bit more if he wants to, and like you say, it could put some pressure on. He does have a higher Void Ray count, I believe. Yeah, just by 1. But as soon as he makes it over there, he's going to be down by 1, just because Kenosua's double pumping Void Rays behind this. It's actually Kenosua is going to be moving across the map as well. Maybe sees that third. He sees some probes. Yeah, he sees probes moving out, and he sees the third, so he's going to want to put pressure on there. There's no shield batteries here. There is a Zealot moving out to spot that. So he could get all of his army, hopefully the ones in the main as well, down to the... Yeah, he's pulling everything, and he's going to try and defend that third. I think he should be able to hold here, especially because that Void Ray is actually picking off that sentry. Oh, and that'd be huge. He could force field out these stalkers, but the sentry does go down early. These Void Rays are going to shred these stalkers and Void Rays, though, and they are overcharged as well. So pulling back here is very wise out of Spawn.
Yeah, I think Kenusua's one immortal there is... it'll be very powerful against those stalkers, but I think Spawn could still hold this.
Yeah, and now it's the overcharge of Spawn that's being activated, so Kenosua gets dropped. Yeah, not too much macro on the side of Spawn. I think his one Stargate might not be grouped up properly. Oh, this Void Ray versus Void Ray fight is going to be interrupted by a couple stalkers. Otherwise, he would have lost that, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now he's getting a bit more production out of the second Stargate there. Looking at... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think this is a good time to talk about instinct, especially like a kill instinct. Generally a good rule in the game is after you win a fight, especially after that, and you have some army left over, your first instinct should be go across the map and attack, because Spawn is significantly in the lead in terms of army supply.
Right. Yeah, definitely, and it's risky too, because if they've ever been in that position before and they say, well, okay, I've had this great fight, I might have an advantage army wise, let me walk over there, and then they maybe overextend into some super batteries or something like that, it can kind of be off-putting. But I would hope that at least he tries or pokes in there and maybe stops the fourth from getting built, that kind of stuff, because at the moment he does have a slight army advantage.
Although that said, Kenosua did double expand. He took a third and a fourth, so economically he's caught up, which means that his army will, in a couple minutes, be a lot bigger than Spawn's.
Right, and we are seeing that tech advantage coming in now. He's got the fleet beacon, and we're gonna see carriers coming out 9 minutes into the game. And this is where he thrives. He's known to be a strong late game Protoss player, and I wonder if Spawn's gonna be ready for it. He is dropping down a fleet beacon himself. I'd like to see maybe a third Stargate. And he's already working on +1 air weapons, so... yeah, so they're actually both pretty evenly matched. As far as production goes, they're almost identical, the +1. The transition into carriers is a bit quicker for Kenosua, but it's looking like it's pretty even right now.
Yep. Spawn still has a larger army, but that advantage is definitely going to diminish over time.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool. And also, just for goals, the transition into this tech is very well timed, honestly. I mean, I play games and I will just focus so heavily on the mid game that my transitions are usually late. And it's not to say that they haven't been fighting, because they have, but behind it, they've just been teching up appropriately, taking the fourth when they should. It's actually really well timed for both of these players.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, after that first fight when they kind of lost some of their army, they didn't just rebuild the same tech stuff. They decided, hey, we'll put down Fleet Beak and go into a better army now after freeing up some supply.
Yeah, very good. There is a bit of scattered units here and there for spawn. Not sure if that's intentional, maybe from previous fights. I think this Void Ray is still there from its first fight, but having those grouped up in the main army would be advisable. Pretty good.
Sometimes you do actually want to use the F2 key, and this might be one of those cases.
Yeah. We noticed there in defense of his third, Spawn actually pulled the units from the main, which is good. I was worried that those are going to stay in there and that he was going to fight 5 stalkers down, which would have been, you know, it would have been decided a bit differently for sure. Having those extra stalkers really helped.
Also, something else is Kenosua is at 78 probes, so he should definitely stop. Yeah, it looks like he's not building any probes now. That's about a good time to cut off.
Very good. That's another, we spoke about instinct, but that's another thing too, is you can very easily overproduce probes, and you can check in the top right of your screen. It'll tell you exactly how many workers you have, but that's not a tip that most people know in gold. So they'll kind of just default to keep making probes. And we talked about it in a couple other series. It's very easy to do that, and then you end up with a small army and you lose the late game fight. So it looks like both players are right on top of that this game. So I'm thoroughly impressed, man. I really am. This is good stuff. Also, like, the positioning of the army of Kenosua is ready for any attack. If it's at his 4th or if it's at his 5th, he's right in the middle. So he sees the pylon. Again, pylon scouting. This is good stuff. Like, out of golds, this is some pretty good stuff. He's getting the right intel. He's fighting on top of shield batteries. That's not going to be good. And these zealots are going to wreak havoc on those stalkers. These carriers are coming in, and the target fire coming out of Kenosua, targeting down the carriers of Spawn. And that is what's going to make these fights, is how well you can target fire. And the ground fight is won handily by Kenosua. Those stalkers absolutely get obliterated. And these Void Rays are actually putting in some good work against the remaining Sky Toss forces of Spawn, or of Kenosua. Okay.
Yeah, that was some great late game control by Kenosua.
Yeah.
But also, Spawn's carriers arrived late, and so that definitely cost him there too.
That's right. Yeah. And
so something else, Kenosua just put down a DT shrine. Well, it's finished now, and Spawn doesn't even have a Robo Bay. So
he's actually getting oracles too, as well. Maybe anticipating a bit of the same thing out of his opponent. He does also have an observer over here too, but this ground army is just something to be feared at this point. All these probes are going down. These zealots are wreaking havoc. Yeah, GG's called by Spawn. Game 1 is in the books, and it goes to Kenosua. GG.
And just the first game of the finals is already so action-packed.
Yeah, man. I think they're pretty evenly matched. I
I agree.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it there, but I definitely like Kenosua was big on those DT shrines, and that definitely could have been very powerful in the late game. So I like that he keeps building them. His opponents don't seem to be ready for him. And
right, it can be a lot to manage too. You're trying to, like, make sure you don't lose your main army. You're trying to harass here and there, but you also have to defend from the opponent's harass. And like a big force of DTs, maybe you don't have a cannon in the right spot. You just got pylons and shield batteries. All of a sudden, your nexus is gone. You know, it can be really good against players that want to take those fringe bases, and then just making sure that they're on top of everything. Having cannons in the right spot can help deter those DTs, but it can be a really good asset for sure.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Okay, the next map will be Pride of Altars.
Perfect. All right, let's waste no time.
If all the other games are like that, that's gonna be a fantastic finals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it really could go either way, and if that game is any indicator, for sure. I'd like to see some early stuff. I think that's the advantage that Spawn has, is some kind of mid-game push, some kind of weird timing, some gimmick DTs early, you know. That being said, like, Aiden's well prepared for all of that stuff. He's just a well-rounded player, as we've seen. He's got usually sends out that that early observer, so he would have that defensively if he needed it. Oops. But yeah, so far, good series.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Aiden or Kenosua definitely seems to be, you know, powerhouse in that late game. So if he can just survive and just make it there, it was probably set to win. So I think if Spawn wants a chance, he really has to do some early to mid game attacks and pressures.
Yeah, especially because we've seen Kenosua kind of take economic risks. We saw a double expand last time. If he were to attack during that time, he'd be able to get away with a good timing window there. If all of your minerals are going into Nexus, Nexi, I guess you'll kind of be weak to some kind of mid game push. So I'd like to see that. Okay, we need Shadow to pick Protoss, and then we'll be good to go.
Yep. So I think this is the largest. Actually, no, I think this map's actually slightly smaller than Glittering Ashes.
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe not. It's it's definitely one of the larger maps, and also the natural is on the high ground, right? So it's a lot easier to defend here, which I think gives Kenosua an advantage. He's more of a defensive player.
Right. This is his preferred map as well. He absolutely loves playing on this one. There is also the golds. I wonder if we're going to see any kind of, speaking of economic risk, take the gold and then have some kind of mid-game charge lot gold fueled aggression. I don't know if we'll see it, but it is a possibility. I think Spawns just needs a moment here.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be at his keyboard.
Mm-hmm. I want to pull in the winner just for a quick, winner's interview. Maybe we'll bring in the loser, the second place, just to see and get their thoughts on the finals.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Get a small interview going.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, looks like the two players are ready.
Okay. And we'll just make sure he's good to go. Keep in mind, this is also the same guy who is a bit intimidated against his first match. His first opponent was the Zerg. It's his worst matchup. They had a Masters 3 border. It can kind of be scary. The nerves kind of got to him. So if you're playing in the finals, that's considerable, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And of course now it's going to be a little bit of uphill climb, right? When you're down one, you're still 3 games away from victory, whereas your opponent's only 2. So it can feel kind of overwhelming at this point.
Oh yeah. Okay, looks like both players are ready. We're gonna hop into our second match on Pride of Altaris.
All right then. Well, let's see if we see some, it's more interesting builds. Like you were talking about earlier, maybe a hidden nexus at the gold base.
Right. And this is the first time we've seen Pride. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I knew you'd have that. That's great.
Yeah, we'll have to update the Liquipedia after, so I've got all the
I'm just
match
gonna
results.
throw the match arena in a big dumpster and light it on fire, and then I'm gonna update the Liquipedia page. I actually sent a message to the admin, so he's got at least up until the finals. He should have the info, but I was surprised, man. They're right on that. That guy, like, moment the tournament started, even beforehand, he's got it all updated. The 2 buys, he had those updated before even the match arena one was updated. Just they're on it.
All right then.
Okay, spawning up here in the top left of Pride of Altaris, we have the red Protoss, who's currently up 1-0 in the finals in this best of 5. He is Silk's Kenosua.
Alright then, on the bottom right, the Dark Blue Protoss down 1-0. We have Piku's Spawn.
Alright, we'll see what these guys decide to do. We have seen them kind of stick to what's known. I think that Spawn has a good mid-game with that harass. Lots of potential there. He did decide to cancel it when he did see the shield battery last match. I'd like to see him maybe commit to a 2 Oracle opener, something like that. We've seen, even though there's shield batteries in place, we've seen him find great success with that Oracle in previous series by dropping down Stasis Wars, or even, you know, using Revelation, trying to figure out what his opponent's up to. He's got a lot of utility there, a lot of options, and he's good. He's capable of doing both of those things, macroing behind it as well. Yeah, we see 2 gates out of Kenosua, 1 gate for Spawn.
I do think it'd be interesting as well, since, you know, Kenosua is usually going, you know, double stalker kind of defensive play. Maybe to see something aggressive out of him. His opponents may not expect it. He might be able to get, you know, a little more damage than he should be able to off of that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And the options open for Spawn maybe to take a bit more of a risk in the early game. We saw him have kind of a pretty good army right off the bat at the beginning of last game. We are seeing the pylon block here by Kenosua. He actually hid the probe in the back of the main there. So that might be a surprise for Spawn. As soon as he wants to pop down that Nexus, he's not going to be able to. Yeah, he pops down another, or he pops down his tech and then just goes to town on that. Oh, actually he cancels that. If I'm Kenosua, I'm leaving that up. If I see 1 gate, especially because he didn't see a Zealot last time, leave that up. I mean, not like he isn't getting 75 resources back for that, so he's probably using it somewhere, but...
Now, Kenosua has not spotted the Stargate. It was out of range of his pylon, so he doesn't know that the Stargate's coming up.
That's right. He's got the pylon at the back, so he could pop down a shield battery. We might see that coming up here pretty quick. We do see a shield battery at the front for Spawn. That's some of the mind games you can play on people. As soon as you pop down a pylon to block, you're a bit more aggressive with your scout, maybe attacking stuff. You can actually mess with people's perception, and you might start thinking that they're going to put some aggression if they're willing to block. Maybe they're willing to hit me with something. You know, you can start messing with people like that. So popping down that defensive shield battery, it's a good idea regardless, but actually goes for Phoenix first here. Maybe we're going to see that double Stargate Phoenix after all.
Yeah, the Phoenix build is definitely very interesting, but if he does build them, I definitely want to see a second Stargate, because 1 gate Phoenix doesn't really work.
Yeah, definitely. He's not getting warp gates, so it's possible that, oh, now as I say that, caster curse, he just starts warp gate. But yeah, we are seeing the robo out of Kenosua, and this is something that can play well into that, picking up those immortals, getting some early harass so that you limit their army potential in the mid game, and then you pick up the army later on when you have a decent count of Phoenix. I know that we've played some custom games where Spawn has been witness to, you know, I've played against Kenosua personally, and I've played Phoenix into him, and that's something that he can't necessarily hold. He said that himself. Oh, he's gonna get the scout off though. He's gonna see some Phoenix. That should be enough to you know, tip him off that it is a Phoenix build. What is he gonna do in response? Does he get a Twilight? He is gonna get the Twilight, and he's probably gonna go Blink here just to stay safe. But with the right amount of Phoenix, that's not going to matter if you can get in there early. I mean, with this amount of Phoenix right off the bat, go with 4, go with 5, get those first few probes. It's no longer a secret. You're not pulling up 6, 7 Phoenix. Get in there, get some harass done, and also check his tech, see what he's doing in response to your Phoenix.
Yeah, we see another Stargate go down for Kenosua, so it looks like he may go into Voids, what I'm thinking, but looks like he wants to respond with air instead of going to Stalkers.
Yeah, it would have to be Voids, I would think, because the worst thing you can do in PvP is against Phoenix is go Phoenix well after they already have a higher count, because it's such a snowbally fight when those 2 Phoenix armies finally collide. And if you have even 2 or 3 more Phoenix, by the end of that fight, you're going to have 5 or 6 over your opponent, depending on how many you have. So this early advantage that he has here, he's got to make it work. And he's going to lift up one probe. Oh, he's going to kind of jitter a little bit there with this one Phoenix. And he's going to see a bunch of units in position. Oh, he's actually going to... Okay, he's going to get a bit more damage done. He didn't just run away. He kind of picked up the gas there a little bit. Very good. And we're seeing double adapt. They're walking in. They're not shading in. So one is going to go down right off the bat. These stalkers might be able to micro and kill that. Yeah, especially if they're not... Or if the move command isn't issued appropriately there for the adapt. But as we've seen time and time again, we have that observer in position for Kenosua, and he's going to keep tabs on the army. He can actually maybe get some damage done here at the front. He knows that a lot of his army is positioned at the back by his workers. And stylistically, we've known him to take early thirds and early fourths, so this is a good move out of spawn. This is something that he wants to do, and never underestimate the power of Phoenix in a fight like this. Even if they have immortals, you can lift that immortal and it's gone. If you target fire with those stalkers, boom, it's over. There's a void right here. He's got to move that. I can get picked off super easy. Move the rest of your army, and this is going to be it. There's a lot of army here, though, for Kenosua. He's got to pick up that immortal. He's going to right away. He's actually going to pick up everything and kind of turn the tides of the battle right off the bat. And hopefully he gets that. Oh, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to kill that immortal. Lifting up like that can be good if you have equal numbers of stalkers, because then you have that advantage. But as soon as that wears off, then they're coming back down, and you have to find some kind of damage.
I think he also had, like, his stalkers were targeting the units that had been lifted up, not like the units on the ground, so that didn't help either.
Right.
He does still have his Phoenix though, so they can still come into play, right? You can still lift up, and Kenosua is now building Void Rays. And Phoenix are, you know, of course they can still hit Void Rays. I don't know if they're really, they aren't too strong against them, but it might be better than Stalkers.
Right. Okay. So there's that killer instinct we were talking about earlier. He took a good fight, and he's wanting to push the advantage that he has. Is Kenosua, and I would love to see double Stargate. For spawn. He's just rallying, unfortunately, at this point.
Oh, no.
This might actually be game-ending damage that Kenosua is about to do. There is a shield battery, and there are Phoenix working on that. On both, lifting both of those immortals batteries. Actually is a really good idea, but there's only one pylon powering these shield batteries.
Oh man.
2 out of 3 of them anyways. There's just not enough production. There's too much money in the bank. It looks like Kenosua is taking a good fight, and GG's called here by Spawn. GG. 2-0. Mr. Kenosua.
That's definitely a faster game, but I think no less intensive. We had basically a conflict going on in the last 3-4 minutes then.
Yeah. I like that attempt. I really do. If he had 2 Stargates and he went Phoenix, that would have gone totally differently in my mind. He would have had enough to sneak into the back, get a lot more probe kills. We only got a couple there. Aiden Kenosua had a lot of units in position, though. As soon as he sent that scout out, he had that observer, he had that hallucinated Phoenix. He was able to tell it was Phoenix right away, went into blink, or Twilight at least, you know. Yeah, I would have loved to see that second Stargate for sure. It would have been the right approach for that style, but even still, it was a good attempt, we'll say, on the side of Spawn.
So one other thing that Kenosua has done in every single game so far, no one's ever caught him do it. I think Count found it once, but he has an observer in his opponent's base always. It's just from the very start of the game until the end, and tells them exactly what his opponent's doing, what his army's made out of. Definitely gives them a good advantage.
That's right. Yeah, it's huge, especially if you're making that final push. You know what's up the ramp, and you're not going to run into a trap or anything, and you can spot even that pylon that's powering those 3 shield batteries and focus it down like he did. It was really good. So we're on match point here.
Yeah, this map is Blackburn.
Okay.
So if we are going to see any cheese or aggressive builds, I think this is the map to see it. But I think we'll see it out of Kenosua before we see it out of Spawn.
Right. Yeah, because he's able to take that risk. You know, he's up 2 games already. I haven't seen his early game cheese very much. I don't know if it's, up to par. He might just stick with what he knows again, but yeah, this is the time to do it for sure in the series, or at least this is the time to fake it. You could even do that too. Have your opponent expect you to do something aggressive, and then Meanwhile, you've taken, as he's done before, double expands, especially on Blackburn. He can take that gold. He can block. He can maybe even throw some pylons down aggressively, pretend to, you know, fake cannon rush, that kind of thing. And then you got him on the back foot. You take that gold, and then you've won that kind of portion of the game, the mental game, if you will. Just make sure that Spawn picks Protoss and not Terran, and then we'll be into potentially the final game of the finals. It might just be a clean 3-0 sweep. Not even dropping a map so far is Kenosua. Is just so technically solid, man. He's had experience playing against Platinum and Diamond players. We saw the other day he posted that he beat a Diamond Zerg, and I'm not surprised at all. It's just solid play. I've played against him personally, and if I hadn't done any kind of, like, you know, harass to him, I don't know that I would even be able to keep up with his mid game and late game. It's really good. My focus is more in the early game, and my tech transitions are certainly not as tight as both of these players, man. They had the carrier transition down pat. Everything was great. So yeah. Okay, it looks like they're ready.
I do think this game's also very important for Spawn, because if he wins here, he can, you know, start gaining that momentum again. You know, it's like you win this game, you only need to win, you know, one more, and after that, you're the match point, right? It's same, you know, then your opponent has the same pressure you have. But this game's also the hardest to win, because, you know, if you lose this game, you're done, right? The tournament's over.
Yeah. There's a lot riding on the line here for Spawn. Hopefully he can show us, you know, a game 4 and game 5, but I guess we'll find out. It all comes down to this on Blackburn.
I definitely think we're going to see something different out of Kenosua this game, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, he's known to do that. As well-rounded as he is, he's definitely capable of pulling stuff like that out. So we'll just have to see. And spawning down here in the bottom right of Blackburn, he's up 2-0 in the finals. This could be it for him, a clean 3-0 sweep. If he wins this game, he is Silk's Kenosua.
Already sending out a probe?
Yeah.
Alright then, on the bottom left, the dark blue Protoss. This is potentially his last match if he can't pull it together here. We have P-Goose Spawn.
I need my
it
boy
definitely
to
looks
win.
like,
I need my boy to
definitely
win.
looks like we're getting a proxy here.
Oh yeah, there goes the pylon at the third too. You're right, you called it.
Well, if Spawn goes double gateway, he might be able to hold this, but we'll see.
I think we're gonna see. Are we gonna see only 2, or are we gonna see a bit more? I've seen 3 and 4 before. There's not a lot of room though.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4 gate into just plain Zealot, because he doesn't have any gas yet. So
right, he might not be able to pop down the 4th one. I think he might be able to get a 3rd one in behind to the left of the pylon there a little bit.
Yeah, to the left. Yeah.
This might just have to be a 2 gate unless there's another pylon. Yeah, there we go.
Yep,
okay, so there is space. Okay, perfect. There it is.
Okay, yeah, he's just gonna go, you know, Zealot, and his probe's stuck in, but
yeah, that's unfortunate, but okay. I don't know that Spawn has even seen this before, man. It takes a lot to be able to react to this. You have to have a lot of Zealots of your own. You have to have a shield battery if you can get it up. A lot of chrono has to be spent to make sure that the gates that you do have are actually producing enough Zealots. Even running a Zealot across, if you can afford to delay, maybe you get a bit more probe kills so that if you actually end up losing probes, you're not too worse off in the game. But this might just be it. It's a lot of pressure put on. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold.
And his first unit is an Adept. I think that's one of the worst to make against this.
Yeah, he's actually supply blocked as well a little bit there. Oh, so his second gate isn't going to be producing a unit as soon as it could. Oh, he would have to see this coming ahead of time. Or maybe even if he can get Oh my god. Okay, the Adept just goes right into the 2 Zealots. This might be it. He's gonna pull back. Is he gonna wall off? He's gonna try to.
He tries.
It's blocked by the Zealots though. He might finish the wall. He is gonna finish the wall. So, okay, and these Zealots are gonna go to town on that wall right away. They want to be able to break that down and get the rest of those units in here. This is a lot of pressure on Spawn right now. Is he gonna make some units out of his gate? Is he gonna be able to do that?
Well, he canceled his wall.
Yeah. Oh man, it looks like he might be panicking a little bit. I would be too. This is really intense. He's actually kiting pretty well with the Adept and getting the probes involved, which is good. As soon as that pylon goes down though, both of those pylons, then that's it. It's lights out for those gates until this other one comes up. But even still, he's got non-stop production of Zealots. One is actually stuck behind the gates, but these are the targets right now, these pylons. If you can get those down, that's going to be, well, it's lights out for one of the gates. And that Adept is almost dead. Is it going to be able to survive? I don't know. All of these probes are pulled right now. If these Zealots turn and fight, which they're going to. Oh, the Adept goes down to one of the Zealots. A Zealot for Spawn coming out as well. All of these Zealots are super low. I think that's going to be it. That Zealot of Spawns is almost dead.
Kenosua was actually supply blocked, so that's why these 4 Zealots here are so late.
Yeah, and actually because of that, these Zealots might go down as well, but I think that's going to be too much probe damage once these other reinforcements come in. 15, 16, 17 probes go down. That's it. GG is called. Kenosua with the 3-0 sweep in the finals. Congrats to him, and well done also to Spawn. Wow. Great games. Great games. I'm impressed. I'm glad we got to see some aggression there at the end too.
Yeah, that was the shortest game all tournament.
Yeah, right at the end too.
Definitely quite engaging, quite energetic, and that supply block really had me worried. For a moment, I was like, man, if this cheese gets held, then Spawn's just gonna win. Right?
It was a pretty strong hold, given that it was, you know, scouted a bit late, and that's the whole point of that proxy, is to keep it in the dark, right? But it was a very impressive hold, given that. Nice micro on the Adept, pulling the probes, that kind of thing. He did what he could. He kept the gates powered for the most part, but unfortunately, it was just a bit too much towards the end. That was incredible. What a game.
That was, I think, the best series. Of course, we did have 3 games of it, but yeah, those players were very evenly matched, and I think all of those games were quite close. Maybe not the last one as much, but... So it looks like Kenosua was up for an interview, so we could get that going.
Yeah. I'll just see if they're good for that. Okay. Let's see if we can pull him in here. Mr. Kenosua.
Yes, hello.
Aiden, the winner of the tournament. A clean 3-0 sweep in the finals, and actually not dropping a map the entire time. How do you feel after that, man?
I'm just surprised that I managed to win like all these games.
Well, you did good, man. It was really good, especially in that that final game. What made you decide to go 4-gate Zealot? Did you have that planned in case you already won the first 2 games, or was that a spur of the moment thing?
It was my third plan, because I realized that he was doing a 1-gate expansion. So a 1-gate expansion, right? There's barely no defense, so that's why I went for a 4-gate boost, 4-gate all in.
Very good, very good. Yeah, we were talking about that. There's a lot of premeditation going into the tournament. You're planning, but also you're on the fly. You know, you can kind of figure out stylistically what these people are doing and what you can take advantage of, and it showed itself in that game 3 of the finals. Congrats, man. That's very well done. Did you do any kind of planning going into this? Did you look up any profiles or scout people or anything?
Yeah. I went to watch Spawn POV. I just replay all his games, so yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I knew that he liked to harass, so that's how I built like 2 batteries at Window Online and Stalkers nearby base.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were commentating on, is your ability to be a well-rounded Protoss, very good defensively. You make it safely into the mid game and into the late game, where you actually took some really good fights. Talk a bit more about your later game Protoss. Do you think it's up to par? It certainly looked like it was in this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that Cause like, not a lot of people went Sky Toss like this game for endgame, so I took advantage of that to play Sky Toss. This is the only way to win, honestly, unless DT. So yeah.
Yeah, that was really good, man. And we even saw DTs as a transition in some of those late game pro or PvP battles too. So yeah, it's good, man. You're a very well-rounded player, and I'm very happy that you won the tournament, man.
Thank you.
Sweet. Okay, and you won $70 on top of that.
Oh, really?
You're rich.
Oh shit.
You're rich, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, $70 for first place, $30 for second place. So there you go, $70.
I just made this game for fun. Oh my god.
Oh man, really? You're just in it for the pride, eh? Pride of Alteris. Okay, well there you go. Very good job. It was entertaining to watch your games and casts along with Silence. We're gonna pull in Spawn and get his perspective on that. Well, his run through the tournament and his performance in the final. So thank you very much for the interview.
No problem.
Congratulations on winning.
Congrats.
Okay, he's in the chill out.
Perfect. Spawn, my guy, the guy with the smoothest voice, in here for the losers interview in the finals. How are you?
All right. I got psyched out. I read messages, too many messages, some may call it.
You read too many messages?
Yeah, man sent me a message saying, I'm watching your replays, dude. I'm countering your strats, and it psyched the hell out of me.
Oh no, he got in your head. Oh.
Yeah, man. I got caught.
Oh no.
Yeah. So building on that, I'm interested. How were you? How were you feeling through the tournament, especially with that final game? Were you feeling nervous, maybe some pressure? Do you think that may have impacted some of your play?
The main thing that I was just mainly thrown off by Kenosua because against all the other guys, I had no clue what I was dealing with, so I just went with what I normally do. But I've played him before, so I was in another set of mind here trying to think, what did I beat him with before that could work again, you know? So with prior knowledge that was insufficient, I end up coming to a few bad conclusions. But
we saw you pick, real quick, we saw you on Pride of Alteris, we saw you go Phoenix, and we've seen him fall to Phoenix before, as you know. Did that play into that? Were you kind of pre-planning maybe I'll try some Phoenix play against him? How did that go?
I was like, I haven't seen, I know for a fact in Phoenixes are really difficult to deal with if not protected properly. So I was trying to go in and see if Phoenixes could do a little bit of the dirty work. What I think I mainly did wrong was I attacked into him for the 2 games where I should have slightly waited it out longer. The first 2, I think. I feel like he might have, after the first game, I was like, he could have had vision on me so he could get me in that crossways, and I was like, that could have been it. But either way, he put himself in really great positions to take fights, which I absolutely respect, and that got me absolutely wrecked in the first round.
Very nice. Yeah, you spoke of vision. It was almost every single game he had an observer at the natural all the way through the tournament. It was almost, predictable at that point. He was able to keep tabs on everybody's army. So really well done to him, but also really well done to you for trying these different styles in the finals of a tournament. That can be a lot of pressure, especially when you get 4-gate all in. That's a lot of pressure, and I think you did pretty well, man. So congrats to you. Second place in the tournament, but you do get $30 USD, so spend that how you like. And
I take that.
Yeah, thanks for the games, man. It was entertaining to watch you play.
Absolutely. It was an honor.
Perfect. Okay, we'll see you later.
Later.
All right, then. That's cool.
All right. That's it, man.
Hear their perspectives.
That's the event. Only 1 water out of me. I thought I would have just chugged 4 waters trying to keep my voice alive, but honestly, it didn't go too bad. Not too much Starcraft. Yeah. So, and thank you very much for keeping up and just, casting out of nowhere with me. This would have been such a battle if it was just me. And I do think that we play pretty well off of each other in casting, so maybe in the future we can do some more casting together.
Yeah, that definitely sounds good, and I definitely appreciate you letting me do this, and just kind of come in nowhere, just take part of the limelight. But
Dude,
yeah, a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Definitely enjoyed.
Cool, and thanks for bringing. I know you had some friends involved in the tournament too, so thank you for inviting them. And hopefully we can do this again another time.
Yeah, definitely. So
okay,
with that,
okay, thanks.
I guess I'll head out and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks very much. See you later. Okay, that's it, you guys. That's the tournament. We're gonna update the brackets. Matcherino is an absolute gong show at this point. As soon as I got rid of 2 of the guys there, it just messed the whole bracket up. So we'll finalize everything with the proper brackets, and then we'll get the finalists paid out. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's been such a huge success having you guys watch as well. I know it's kind of hard to interact with you guys with the 3-minute delay, but I do appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. It's been a lot of StarCraft. It's been 5 hours. So yeah, thank you guys very much for showing up, and please, if you can, join the Discord. I know I've made mention of this before, but please join. We got a bunch of different activities in there. As you can see, Rocket League Day, StarCraft 2 Day. We have a bunch of different events. It's just what works with my work schedule the best. So if you can, please join us. And then, yeah, maybe we can get you guys involved in the next tournament, or we're planning on doing some custom games, some Archon mode stuff, just a lot of for fun stuff too. Or again, in the future, we'll do some kind of for cash prize tournament. But thank you guys at least very much for watching the stream. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. I don't have a closer, so that's all you get. Thanks guys very much. We'll see you around.